snack from over there. I'm Miss Cromer, and you're watching Hawk's Eye View. Welcome back to the worldwide leader of all things Hanahan. I'm Molly Ducker. It's Friday, April 12th, and you're watching Hawk's Eye View. Earlier this week, we witnessed something literally out of this world. On Monday, there was a solar eclipse, and HEV Zone Ella Patrick went out to get some more information.
There's that. Oh, yes.
Most afternoons, students have their heads in their books instead of the clouds.
I would much rather be out here because this is such a rare opportunity, and being able to see it firsthand is really cool.
But there's a special reason for the field trip today, a solar eclipse that only happens a handful of times in our life.
So right now we're out to observe the eclipse and everything that you can sense while the eclipse is going on.
Miss Lowe's class learned all about the solar eclipse, and it certainly became a day the students would never forget.
So I think it's really cool to watch this.
Well, I think this is really just a good example of how science works, right? So we're out here, we're going to do some observations. It's not just looking at, how the moon is moving in front of the sun, but how the whole environment interacts with this eclipse that's going through.
The 2.5-hour solar event is pretty rare. In fact, the next time North America will see a total solar eclipse will be August of 2044. That'll give our kids something to look forward to. I'm Ella Patrick for Hawk's Eye View. Now back to Molly in the studio.
Thanks, Ella. And if the solar eclipse wasn't already enough excitement for the week, let's talk about Friday's quarterly Renaissance Rally. Later today, our Renaissance Club is hosting the last Renaissance Rally of the year out in Wiley Knight Stadium. There will be a jump castle, obstacle courses, 9 square, Kona ice, and lots more. Mr. Gallus is also ready to get drenched in the dunk tank. Renaissance cards for Platinum level with cleared fines and students nominated from Blue level are getting delivered today in second block. If you did not receive a card and you think that you should, come to the library before second block to ask questions. The rally will be in the stadium today during fourth block. Also, mark your calendars because next Friday we will have the faculty-student basketball game during the activity period after first block. Tickets will be $3 and are on sale now. That'll definitely be a lot of fun. Hey, speaking of fun, do you want to be a part of Student Council next year? Applications are open for student body positions now through next Wednesday, April 17th. The following positions are available: Recording Secretary, Treasurer, Spirit Chair, Communications Chair, and Historian. Find the QR codes posted around campus that you can scan to access the application. If you have any questions, make sure you see Miss McSwain in room 101 or Miss Davis in room 301. Next year's Student Council might just be getting started, but this year's yearbook sales are coming to an end. The last day to order this school year's yearbook will be Monday, April 15th, so in just a few days. Be sure to purchase one of these as soon as possible so you can keep these high school memories with you for a lifetime. You can buy a yearbook 2 different ways. You can go to yearbookordercenter.com to order, or you can also bring cash or a check to Miss Girth in room 114 or to guidance. So be sure to get your last minute orders in. Speaking of doing things at the last minute, as we get to the end of the school year, Dr. Zahner and Miss Jerry in the library want to remind you that the last day to check out library books is this coming Tuesday, April 16th. And all library books are due by Thursday, May 9th. So if there's something you wanted to read before the school year, I'd check it out now. Speaking of checking things out, take a look at the major award Hawk's Eye View recently received. The National Academy of Television Arts and Sciences recently named Hawk's Eye View the best student-run newscast in the Southeast region. This is a pretty big deal for us because NATAS also gives out the Emmy Awards. So yeah, Hanahan's a pretty big deal. Speaking of big deals, on Monday the moon tried its best to cover up the sun. But will the sun be able to stick around this weekend? Good thing we have Maui Mason to find out more about this weekend's weather. Mason?
Thanks, Molly, and welcome back, Hawks. From what I see,
this weekend seems to be very bright. Lucky for us, this weekend's forecast will be sunny through for all 3 days. Finally, some consistency for once. And hey, looks like the temps will be following that trend too. For the high, the temps will be staying in the upper 70s all the way through, and for the low, the temps will be dropping down to the 60s and 50s. Looks like this will be a perfect weekend to spend some time at the beach. Well, Hawks, looks like we will be having some amazing weather. And remember to enjoy a great time this weekend. And before I forget, let's send it back over to Molly in the studio.
Thanks, Mason. The end of the school year will be here before you know it, which means you seniors will be walking the stage in no time. But before you 12th graders graduate, there are a few important dates you should remember. On April 27th, we will have our prom at Trident Tech. April 23rd will be the senior cookout during first and second lunch. May 10th, y'all will celebrate graduating with the senior sunset from 7:30 p.m. to 8:30 p.m. on the football field. On May 17th, seniors will have their annual grad walks at Hanahan Elementary and Howe Hall Ames at 8:30 a.m. May 20th, y'all will take your senior class picture, eat some breakfast, and check out at 9 a.m. on the hill. May 23rd will be senior awards night at 6 p.m. in the auditorium. And finally, on May 30th, you seniors will begin graduation prep with grad practice from 10 a.m. to 12 p.m. in the auditorium. That all leads up to graduation day, May 31st at the North Charleston Coliseum. So make sure you seniors mark your calendars for all those important dates. I know we just mentioned prom, but there are a few more things you should know about the big night. This year's prom will be on Saturday, April 27th at Trident Tech from 7 to 11 p.m., so 2 short weeks from now. Tickets range from $50 to $75, but remember, you seniors must pay your senior fees before you are eligible to buy your prom ticket. Please see Ms. Steinmar or Ms. Rowe if you have any questions. The prom will be a big hit this year, but you know what was a huge hit over break? Our Hawk baseball team. So let's send it over to Veda Berry in the HEV Sports Center to give us a rundown on all things Hawk sports.
Thanks, Molly. While everyone else was relaxing over spring break, our baseball team was fighting for the title of champions of their annual hit tournament. After fighting their way through a bracket of 40 teams, our Hawks made it to the championship game against the Berkeley Stags. In the bottom of the first, Riley Turner with a base hit up the middle scores Hunter Gomes for the first run of the game. Bottom of the third, now Jacob Bunning, not Bunning, with a drive down the line, scores 2. Still in the third inning, and we're tied up. Sterling Coaxum with a shot past the shortstop that scores 2 as well. The Hawks don't look back, winning their first hit tournament in 54 years. Final score, 12-5, Hawks over the Stags, a historic victory here on Hawk Hill.
Winning the hit tournament, it was a cool experience. It took all of us, though, pulling on the same side of the rope, all pulling towards one common goal. Being named as MVP was cool, but it was really a team effort, and it wasn't just me.
Coming off their big win, our boys had a game against Philip Simmons this Tuesday with a winning score of 14-6. Just like our baseball team went undefeated in the hit tournament, our girls soccer team is undefeated so far in their season. Unfortunately, our girls fell to the Beaufort Eagles with a final score of 7-0, making their season record 6-1. Moving on to the boys' side of things, they also took on Beaufort earlier this week. Thankfully, they didn't fall to the same fate as the girls, winning their game 3-2, making their overall record 10-4. As for our softball girls, they were busy on Tuesday with a doubleheader against the Iron Horses from Philip Simmons. Our Lady Hawks knocked out the Iron Horses for the season, winning 15-0. Our track athletes had their Berkeley County Championship on Wednesday to determine who will be moving on to the Tri-County meet. Here are the Hawks who qualified. Javion Brown got first place in high jump, Kalani Roberts placed second in discus, Jude Ayers placed second in the 1600 meter, Dylan Ferrara placed third in the 400 meter hurdles, Max Brown placed fourth in the 400 meter, Jake Simler placed fourth in pole vault, and Paulo Zielinski placed fifth in javelin. Now that we're all up to date, let's take a look and see what home games we have coming up. Our soccer teams will be busy tonight with both teams taking on the Dolphins from Battery Creek here at the Nest. Our boys soccer team will have another home game on Tuesday against Philip Simmons. Our golf team will be having their senior night this upcoming Monday as they go up against Goose Creek and Stratford. And finally, don't forget to stay up to date with all our Hawk sports, plus you can get all your tickets and stats at hawkathletics.net. That's all the sports for you this week. Now, back to you, Molly, in the studio.
Thanks, Veda. This week, Wild Joe decided to switch things up. He's in a new location with some new amazing creatures. Here's the latest edition of Wild Joe.
G'day, Hanahan. I'm Wild Joe, and today we'll be talking about these leaping lemurs right here. Okay, Hanahan. I'd like to start this episode by thanking Eudora Farms for letting us hang out with their creatures today. And today's subject, these leaping lemurs, the ringtail lemur. Ringtail lemurs are native to the jungles of Madagascar and are found nowhere else except for the zoo and some feature-length cartoons. The males will try and outstink each other by rubbing their scent glands on their tail and flicking it at other lemurs who pose a threat, kind of like me and the boys wearing that Axe body spray in 6th grade. Ringtail lemurs live in troops, consisting of 30 individuals, and they're ruled by one dominant female. So, girl power. Sorry, King Julian. The lemurs feed primarily on fruit, flowers, vegetation, and on occasion have been known to eat eggs and small insects. Kind of like my Uncle Lewis at Easter dinner. They will spend the early morning and late afternoon foraging and will generally snooze through the heat of day. Again, like my Uncle Lewis at Easter dinner. Ringtails bask in the sun in groups, sun worshipping, absorbing the warmth of the sun through their less dense belly fur. Again, just like my Uncle Lewis at Easter dinner. But when they do it, you might mistake it as some meditation session. Initially, infants cling to their mother's bellies, but as time goes on, they'll ride jockey style on the mother's backs around approximately 3 weeks. Okay, Hanahan, that's all I have for today. Again, thanks for Eudora Farms for letting us film with their creatures today. And remember, stay curious, fly high, and soar like a hawk.
Thanks, Wild Joe. Well, that's all we have for you this week, Hawks. From all of us here at Hawks Eye View, I'm Molly Ducker, and we hope you have an amazing week in Hanahan.